Thank you, and good morning. Hello, everybody. So, hello from the south coast of England. So I'm based just outside Southampton. So I was just exchanging stories of lockdown there with Michelle. So I hope you're all coping okay. So today I'm going to talk to you about apps and tools that will help elevate your marketing. So we've got about 40 minutes or so. I'm going to keep an eye on the time as well to make sure that I don't get too carried away, because rather than just kind of go through like a list of these are things I use, I wanted to show you some as well, so you can actually see, you know, almost like a mini live demo of how some of these tools work. So just to give a bit of context, Green Umbrella Marketing, we're a digital marketing agency. We work with clients kind of all over the place. Generally SMEs, so small to medium sized businesses, perhaps where, you know, maybe there's just a solo marketer, maybe that's you're kind of on your own, and you need a bit of guidance every now and then, or just an extra pair of hands. So but we've seen a huge amount of change this year, particularly in how people are marketing their businesses, and people kind of wanted to make sure that their voice and their presence is still heard, because let's face it, it's a noisy marketplace out there. So anything that helps keep you out there in front of mind and people being able to see and know about you is definitely a good thing. I will just also say that this is being recorded. So if for any reason you've got a cut and run, or if your internet drops out, you know, don't worry, we can make the recording available. And a copy of the slides will be available as well. So again, don't feel like you've got to furiously make notes. You'll get a copy of these, so you can just dip in and out or share them with any colleagues as you see appropriate. There'll be plenty of time for Q&A at the end, but if you've got any burning questions as we go along, pop them in the chat box. If I don't see them immediately, I promise I will check at the end as well, so that I can make sure I cover everything. So today's agenda. I'm going to talk through various apps and tools. Some are sort of plugins like Chrome extensions that you would use on desktop. Some are just some really useful websites and online tools, and others are apps that you would use on your phone as well. So, you know, things that might make your life easier while you're on the go. But the question I've put there is kind of, what do you need your apps and tools to do? I mean, there's probably something during your day or several things that you just think, oh God, if I could just do it this way, it would make my life so much easier. So again, if there's something, you've got a burning question, you think, I really want X, so it will help kind of make Y smoother. Again, feel free to pop that in the questions. I can't promise I'll have the answers, but you know, it might be that somebody else in the group has, so we can certainly share our knowledge as well. Okay, so kicking off, and I'm going to cover a lot of areas of marketing as well, so I'm not going to just focus on a specific sector. So we're going to talk about content, we're going to talk about video, all sorts of things. So kicking off with content ideas, you know, again, that's something at the moment that people think, I know I should be putting content out there, I just don't know what I should be talking about. Or the ideas that you have, maybe it feels like other people have had those ideas as well, so it's just a you know, sort of a vanilla subject. It's a bit bland, everybody else has been doing it. So, you know, I think lockdown 1, the amount of articles out there and content around how to work from home kind of got to the point where everyone had done it. You know, I think now as well, things like Zoom interviews. So, you know, from a recruitment point of view, there's lots of content around that. So, you know, when you're creating content, you want to think of something maybe that's just a little bit different, coming at a different angle. So if you're looking for ideas of what people want to know, there's 2 websites there called answerthepublic.com and also asked.com. So, and this basically, if you can picture when you go into Google and you start typing in a question, it often predicts the end of that question for you. So if you go and type in, how do I, based on kind of your, you know, geography, where you are at any given time, what other people are searching for, Google starts to populate the end of that sentence for you. So these 2 websites, Answer the Public and also Asked, they kind of gather up what everybody is talking about and what everybody's asking. So you can go there and find some fantastic content ideas. So at the moment, and I did it as an experiment earlier, I typed in, how do I? And of course, it picked up some searches I'd already done, but it also picks up very common topics at the moment. So how do I find out what tier I'm in? Because we have a tier system for lockdown that just was announced yesterday. How do I get a COVID test? I mean, of course, they're going to be popular topics at the moment, but think about what's relevant to your audience, and what they will be asking. You know, and I often say there's a blog in every day. So the questions that you asked on a daily basis are what people want to know. So the example we've got on screen, cybersecurity, it's a huge topic. So you can start to drill down in that. So people will kind of, take it to other layers. Why is it interesting? How does it impact my, insert sector here, kind of thing. So yeah, great resources if you're looking for a little bit of inspiration. Okay, the next tool is, I guess, following on from that. So once you've got an idea of the content that you're producing, so whether it is, a blog, an article that you're going to write, I think, as marketers, or even as people who are, just maybe stepping out in marketing, we all probably know the most important thing to get our content read and engaged with is the headline. So whether it's the headline for an article or your email subject line. And if you're anything like me, you have probably had a gazillion Black Friday emails today. So, Friday's always a busy day for consumer emails that go out, particularly, well, this week, Black Friday seems to have lasted for an entire month, or a week, but it's today. But if you kind of scroll through and you think, well, are there some emails that you just generally tend to delete because they look a bit samey? Or are there some that really pull you in? And coming up with those ideas for really engaging email subject lines or engaging blog topics, if you just send out an email that kind of says our monthly newsletter, I'm afraid your open rate's probably not going to be fantastic. Whereas if you've got something that's really engaging, that pulls people in, so if you are talking about a topic that is, the 10 best Black Friday tech deals or something, is more likely to get somebody engaging with that as well. So headliner, without the E, so headliner, is a place you can go that gives you some inspiration for blogs and email subject lines. It's free. So as many of the tools I'm going to talk you through and apps as possible are free, or they're low cost as well. So which is, fantastic if you're, if you struggle to A, get the budget, and B, to get sign off. I'm just going to keep a little eye on the chat box as well, just to make sure. So, oh, fantastic. It's just sharing my contact details. Fab. Okay, so headliner, fantastic place to go to get some inspiration for engaging subject lines, and inspiration for your blogs as well. Oh, moving on. Oh, I've skipped one. So next one. So this is, and the logo is a little bit misleading, I think, because it doesn't read what it says. So it's called Otter. I guess it kind of looks like a little otter laying on its back. But this is a fantastic tool that we use, again, probably not quite daily, but certainly on a weekly basis, and it transcribes voice notes. So if you are, again, like probably a lot of people at the moment, doing a lot of video calls, maybe you're doing some presentations, maybe you're really dabbling into producing video as well. But actually what you could really do with is having these typed up. So, you can't escape. So any presentation where somebody in marketing is presenting, they will talk to you about how video content is really important, and we're engaging loads of video. It absolutely is important, and we are engaging with video, but from a Google point of view as well. So if you can picture on your website, you might produce your video and share your video. If you've got that as a blog as well, so the written word, you're ticking more boxes from a Google, from a search engine point of view as well. So it gives you those kind of Google points. So basically, as you're speaking, you would have Otter running in the background. So whether it's on your phone as an app, or as a plugin, and it captures what you're saying, and it's accurate as well. So there's a lot of tools we've tried and tested, and sometimes they will transcribe your voice notes. But then actually, you go through and you just think, well, I've spent as much time editing this as I have, I could have just typed it up from listening to it myself. but we found it's quite accurate, you know. So basically you can just go through, pop some headings in, and ta-da, you've got a blog for yourself there as well. Also, this is a great tool if you know, you're not a wordsmith. So maybe, you know, a lot of people kind of go, oh, you know, I'm not a good writer, it's not something I can do. So if you've got somebody in your team who is reluctant to put, well, pen to paper, you know, fingers to keyboard, but they are fantastic at presenting, this again is a great tool. Just get them to talk, do an interview with somebody, and it will transcribe it for you. All you need to do is edit it, so half the work is done. Otter is free, up to 40 minutes per recording, but the paid options are pretty low cost as well. So so just see which suits. I would suspect as well, I haven't looked, but a lot of these websites probably have free trials on. So even, you know, you choose the free option, but the paid trials, most places have a sort of 30-day free trial. So you just have to remember to cancel within that limit. Okay, so next tool and app, and this is one that I use on a daily basis all the time, is called Grammarly. So this picks up any typos, spelling, grammar errors in any of your written content. So that could be, again, if you're writing a blog or a press release, even just kind of social media posts. So if you're just doing sort of 3 lines on a social media post, emails that you're writing, proposals, it will pick up the spelling and grammar errors. The free version is fine, absolutely works really well. I've just tried the paid version, I've just upgraded to it, and that, I have to say, was a bit of a revelation to me, because it not only does it pick up the typing and spelling errors, it starts to improve your writing. So it'll pick out whether you are maybe using too many words in a sentence and too many kind of redundant words. So actually you could be saying something a bit more punchy, make it a bit briefer and to the point. Or it tells you if you're writing in the active or the passive voice. So an active voice is very much kind of lots of ing words, doing, but it's far more engaging for the reader. And I wanted to hop out of here just to show you exactly what Grammarly looks like. So I wrote a blog about blogging, basically, kind of help I don't know what to blog about. Word will always pick up, you know, any little kind of, so abbreviations it doesn't always like, it's up to you whether you keep them in. Grammarly is up here, it's a little plugin. So you would go to the website, Grammarly, start your account, and it'll download a plugin for you. So you can just see it's kind of lurking here at the end. If I open that, it gives me the kind of review pane down the side, and you can see it's just started to highlight in here. So some of the errors that I've gone through. So I imagine these will be things like, yeah, have you put a comma in where you don't need to? The blue ones tend to be more about tone of voice. So you can see here it's kind of going, add a comma, change this. So as much as writing experts will say to you, write as you speak, you know, that's a good rule of thumb when you're creating content. The kind of write as you speak, I think, comes with a bit of a disclaimer that's like, well, yes, that's true, but equally not at the expense of, you know, missing out question marks or vital punctuation, or complete typos as well. So super tool, as I said, I use it on a daily basis, so I would highly recommend it. Okie doke, heading back over here. So next one that we've got is something called Duck Soup. So, and I'd be curious to know if anyone's heard of this or uses it on a regular basis. This is a Chrome extension, acts as a little plugin, and it basically helps keep you on the radar of your LinkedIn contacts. So if you use LinkedIn as a sales tool, so you kind of grow your network and you want to reach out to people on there. If you log into LinkedIn regularly, again, you're probably like everybody else. One of the first things you do is you go in and you check your notifications. So you go in and kind of see, right, has anyone been looking at my profile? Has anybody mentioned me? Anybody crucial in my network who shared something? But, you know, we all quite like the who's looked at your profile, because we kind of go, well, who are they? Why are they looking at what I'm doing? You know, is it somebody I work with, somebody I used to work with? Is it an ex, you know? But it kind of makes you think, if it's somebody you don't know and you think, okay, why are they looking at me? It just puts you on their radar. Or if it's somebody you're already connected to, again, you might think, why are they looking at me? Or it keeps you front of mind. So it's like, oh yeah, I had a conversation with Michelle about taking up the offices. I really need to get back to her. So it just helps keep you on the radar. And essentially it's kind of an auto tool. So again, if I hop out of here, if I hop out and go into, I'm just going to go into Google, you can see just here, he's kind of hiding underneath his 752, but there's actually a little icon of a duck. So duck soup is spelt with an X. There's a little icon of a duck there. That 752 is just telling me, notifications of what it's done. But what I can do is I can either create a search string for things like, so I might look for marketing managers in, let's say Dublin. And again, a fantastic way where you want to create a search string. Another tool, but I haven't used it, is called recruiting.net. Now, this is a platform that's used a lot by recruiters when they're searching for people with different skill sets to place them. But actually, it could be used for any business development. So what I might put in here is they're based in the UK. Let's say I put in marketing manager. Locations, keywords to include. So let's say I want to include Dublin. And I could put kind of or, so to create something really niche. So words I might exclude, let's say finance, just for the sheer heck of it. Hopefully that will come up with something. And if I say here now, find the right people on LinkedIn, it comes up with this fantastic search string for me. So, and the techie people amongst you will know this is called a Boolean search string. I would have no clue how to create one of these if it wasn't for recruiting.net. If I open that now in Google and click on, so it's given me a lovely list of people, all these marketing managers that either work in Dublin or have Dublin somewhere in their profile. I can click on my little duck and choose to visit these profiles. So if I click that button, it's giving me kind of a, do you want to send messages to them? If I clicked on yes, please, this would ask me and say, well, you need to upgrade to the paid profile because I just used the free one. I'm going to click on OK. And you may be able to see, this is assuming I'm logged in yet. So right in the bottom corner of the screen, it's kind of popping up and it's auto visiting all those profiles. So I don't have to do anything now. I can just let this sit and run. It will visit all these profiles for me. So that now all these people, Katie, Attain, I guess, Cleona, they will all get a notification to say, Amanda Davis has been to visit your profile. So, which hopefully, if I've, for example, had a conversation with them before, will make them go, oh yeah, she was the lady who spoke about all those apps and tools, or yes, I need to get back to her proposal. So fab tool, really great if you're doing a bit of business development. If that's not your role, maybe someone in your business, let them know about it. Lovely way of keeping on people's radars. Right, I'm going to cross this out so that it stops running. Okie dokie. How are we doing? How are we doing for time? Not too bad. So next tool website that I wanted to share with you is something called Canva. I'm an absolutely massive fan of Canva. I'm just going to have another quick check in the old chat box as well. Yeah. Okay. So people asking, yeah, is this being recorded, and can you get the slides? So yes, any latecomers, absolutely, it is. So yes, next website, one that I really again use on a daily basis, is called Canva. So it's Canva. If you're not a graphic designer, you don't have access to Photoshop, or you're not that savvy with it, then this is a platform for you. It's again an absolutely fab tool. You really don't need to be experienced. There's free and paid options. And essentially it allows you to create images that you can use to support any of your social media posts, to support email marketing. You can create flyers in there, newsletters, anything like that. So again, I'm going to hop back out just to show you what Canva looks like. and I have got it open here. So the lovely thing as well that I really like about Canva is that it has all the dimensions saved for you. So if I came into my home page, so don't worry about all the bits on the screen, but if I clicked on create a design, it's got all the custom dimensions programmed in. So I could write in here, start typing Twitter post, and it'll come up and say, well, do you want, you know, advert, header banner, a post, something completely different? Do I want a Facebook post? And again, it gives me, do I want cover, the profile picture? It's got them all saved in there, those dimensions. You don't have to worry then. You literally end up with a blank canvas that you can fill up, and it will fit perfectly as your Facebook post, as your Twitter post, as your Instagram story, whatever it might be. And then all you need to do is kind of layer up your images. So, you know, I've got a nice green background. I've popped the GU logo on there. They have heaps of templates. So I won't turn this into a Canva tutorial. I just wanted to show you how easy it was to use. So they've got heaps of templates you can use. They've got stock photos included. They've even got stock videos included. So if you haven't really dabbled in marketing, in video yet, this is quite a nice way to do it. So if I go into videos, I'm not sure. Let's see what they've got. So if I type in the search bar marketing, oops, I can type. Okay, so they might be a bit generic, a little bit cheesy. So what I might prefer to do is just use a photo. So I've already typed in marketing here. We've got that nice one there that says digital marketing. I would click on it, pops it into my canvas. I can move it around, I can resize it, or if I drag it quite nicely, drag it over, it will fill up the whole space for me. Oops, there we go. So it doesn't quite fit, but you can see it's layered up. So I've basically taken a stock photo, popped my logo over the top of it, but it just means I've got that consistent branding going through any of the social posts that I put out there. You know, you've got your colors in there. You can use your font as well, so you can put text in there. You can even add music to it. It's got filters in there. You can take backgrounds out of stuff. It is a super tool. As I said, I use it on a daily basis. You know, I don't work for them. I probably should do, but it's made my life a whole heap easier. So yeah, Canva, big fan of that one. Okie doke, heading back to the slides. What else have we got? Okay, so I've mentioned video a couple of times. This is another Chrome extension, a website that you can go on, and it allows you to make videos, kind of sort of how-to type videos, including screen recording. And part of the reason I really like this is that it allows you to almost do kind of how-to videos. So if anybody emailed me now and said, oh, remind me how I get like duck soup to work, or how I add a video in Canva, I can head over to Loom, create a video, which might be me kind of going, oh, hi Neve, it was great to see you on that webinar. Really glad you reached out and asked me that question about Canva. This is how you do it. And it records my screen, but it's still kind of got me there smiling away in the background. So A, it's a darn sight easier than trying to write a massive email going, click this, go here, do that. And B, it adds that really personal element as well. So from a marketing-y sales point of view, you know, you can record a video potentially that's like, hey, I sent you over that proposal. I just need your e-signature. So you just need to click this green button here if you're happy to go ahead. But of course, if you've got any questions, let me know. You know, and that's free. You get a notification that somebody's watched the video when you've sent it to them. And most people will watch it because they're curious. So, you know, talking about kind of open rates for emails and things like that, a Loom video, if you've gone to the trouble of doing a video, and we're probably all a little bit more comfortable on camera maybe than we were a year ago. But yeah, it allows you to do that. It's nice and personal. It just is a great way of kind of staying in touch. Or even if you kind of go, oh, I've seen this on the web, I think it would be really useful for you. Have you used this before? Takes a couple of minutes, if that. Or you can use it to create a video that you want to put out as content. So, you know, something that will go on your LinkedIn platform, your Facebook platform. Again, as we've said, video content is kind of here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Okay, sticking with video. So obviously there's a bit of a theme here today. Again, if you think about when you scroll through your phone, so whether it's from a worky point of view or whether it's the end of the day, you know, this evening over a glass of wine, thinking, thank, you know, crikey, it's the end of the week. When we scroll through our phones, videos autoplay, but the volume is always off. So it's nearly always muted. You have to select to unmute. And I read a stat somewhere, which annoyingly I didn't capture it, so I can't reference it, but I read a stat that says something like 80% of videos are consumed without the volume on. So subtitles are crucial. They're important from an inclusivity point of view anyway, so it's good practice to have them. But adding subtitles just means that people are, you know, more inclined to understand what it is you're talking about. And again, if you can picture some of the videos that people put out on LinkedIn in particular, so some of the drier topics, you know, they start off with somebody kind of at their desk, they've got their, you know, maybe their office logo behind them or a banner, and it's just kind of, hi, here I am, and this is my video. Whereas if they've, you know, you've got start straight away with a good piece of content and it's right there in the subtitles, because otherwise, you know, if it's muted, there's no subtitles, people are just going to scroll on by. So yeah, think about what captures your attention as well when you're scrolling through your phone. So that's always a good sign of what content is engaging. Rev is our tool of choice for adding subtitles to videos. It's not free, but it is quite low cost and it does a great job. So I think at the moment it's $1.25 for about a minute's worth of video. And if you think about most videos you pop out on social in particular, they're only going to be a couple of minutes long. So it's nice and low cost. And we use it basically kind of as needed. So not necessarily a daily basis, but certainly every week or so. There we go. I'm keeping an eye on the time as well. So, okay, next website is content curation. So you've gone to the trouble of, you know, writing a blog, or you've done a video which has got an accompanying blog. Of course, you're going to put it onto your website. If it's a video, you should be putting it on YouTube as well. Again, that really helps with your Google juice. And then, you know, you might pop out on all your social channels as well. If you want to make that content go a bit further, and again, and make sure that Google is kind of picking up that you have written something that's important and it pushes that traffic back to your website, there are a few places that you can go to share your content. There's also places you can go to, because these are, I suppose, dual purpose. They give you an idea of what to talk about. So right back at that first slide when I had Answer the Public and Also Asked, these places here, Quora, Medium, TED, Post Planner, they allow you to find some good ideas for content, but also Google indexes things that are posted on there as well. So Medium in particular, and they describe themselves as a place where readers find dynamic thinking from experts, but also undiscovered voices. So once you've got your content, always pop it on your website first. You want Google to index there. Then maybe a week or so later, hop over to somewhere like Medium, pop it on there as well, and link it back to your website. Okay, so next up, so stepping away a bit from more of a marketing, so this is kind of generally something that I use to organize and collect content ideas, but it's also a bit of a to-do list. So it helps kind of organize workflow, organize my life a bit as well. If you can picture maybe when you went to a garage or somewhere like that, and they had these sort of T cards that you would slot into a wall. So you'd have like a plastic thing on the wall, you'd have these cards that you slot in, and you might move them along when the job was done, because you knew that meant they needed to be invoiced. So it's kind of an online version of that. So you have these little T cards that might say, so blog ideas around video content, blog ideas around, what else have we got? So Black Friday, blog ideas around kind of new year, new job, that kind of thing. So it helps you organize some of your content ideas. You can use it as a collaboration tool as well. So I can allocate things to other people. And again, I can move things from in progress, started, hopefully they make a nice workflow and they go all the way along to the kind of done pile, and then I can just delete them or tick them off the list. So super way, you know, because again, if you're anything like me, you often get ideas, you know, either in the middle of the night or at the most inopportune moments, and you think, oh, I need to write that down, I need to put that somewhere. I shouldn't just write it on the back of a, in a notebook that I'm going to move the page on. So Trello helps you capture those and helps you organize your thoughts as well. So great idea from a productivity point of view. Okay, the last couple of slides, there's kind of a choice here for you as well. And I imagine some of you listening will have some experience of some of these apps. You might have preferences. I have to say I haven't used all of them. I have my own kind of preferences of the ones I like. So if you want to improve your photos, and these are all editing apps, so these are kind of things that you would use on your phone rather than on your desktop. So 5 of the best, although I actually added Canva on there as the last one, so there should be 6 there. I should say 6. So Facetune, WordSwag, Pick, Play, Post, PixArt, VSCO, and Canva are 6 of the best places you could go to edit photos that you've got, that just allow you to do things like maybe remove the background if there's a shadow in the photo. I don't know, maybe you've got colleagues, maybe even yourself, from a vanity point of view, you think, oh, I look a bit awful in that. I want to just kind of pop a filter on the top, or layer over. You might layer over stickers that are kind of Christmassy or anything like that, just to kind of bring something to life a little bit more. These apps allow you to do it. You can use them on your phone. Some of them are desktop as well. Obviously, I know Canva is. I'm not too sure about all the others, but WordSwag is a popular one, I know. So yeah, some great tools there. Video as well. So when it comes to creating content, I think if you haven't dabbled in video yet, it can feel quite overwhelming. Kind of where do I start? What should I be creating? Where should I be posting this? So some of the best tools and apps that we like, that we use at GU are listed here. So we've got Quick, which is a GoPro app, Clip-O-Matic on your Apple devices, Magisto, and I have to say that's the one I tend to use. But I will use it not just to create video, perhaps do things like add in a montage of photos that creates a video. So if you've got an event, for example, fingers crossed we can actually start doing in-person events next year, virtual tours of offices, that kind of thing. If you wanted just to do kind of a, right, well, here's the view from, or here's the meeting rooms, you capture those images, turn them into a movie from there. And you can, again, overlay some music that is royalty free, so you don't have to worry about using anything that you're going to get in trouble for using. There's filters that can make it maybe a sort of fun, funky video, or maybe a bit more serious. So you would tailor it to your company to make sure it was appropriate for your audience. So that's Magisto. Ripple and iMovie, of course. iMovie is one that is, if you're an Apple user, it's pretty straightforward to use. You can kind of chop things at either end. My best advice would be, if you are creating videos, whether it's you presenting or one of your colleagues, always ask them to kind of have a pause at the beginning and smile, and a pause at the end, because if you need to chop those 2 bits off, it's really easy when people do the video, they get immediately to the end and they go, oh, thank crikey for that. So they'll finish and then go, thanks for listening, and then immediately sort of lean forward to turn off their video camera. So always pause, so there's enough time just to edit the front and the end, so it's a nice clean video for you, which was some great advice I've heard, and I pass it on wherever I can. Okay, content marketing next year. It could probably be a presentation all of its own, but I just wanted to give a nod to what people are consuming. Do we think it's important next year? And where you should be going. So there's 3 things I've popped on here. One is podcasts. I'm sure some of you will recognize the middle logo, particularly if you have teenagers in your life. That's TikTok. And the last one is Instagram Reels, which is Instagram's version of TikTok. Do I think you should be spending loads of time on these apps and tools next year? I would say not necessarily. TikTok I don't think is going to go anywhere, but its usage certainly peaked when we were in the height of lockdown. It was quite fun for creating kind of dances and family engagement, but I think it's going to sort of dip down and plateau the usage. But what TikTok is good for is creating video content. So you can create the video content in there and then save it and move it elsewhere. So it's always a nice little portrait view. You can do some editing in there. It doesn't have to be kind of silly dances. It can be quite a serious post that might be like, okay, I'm launching this product. We need to tell you it does this, it saves you money, or whatever it might be. So if it's kind of a promotional video, you know, if you're comfortable, if you've got younger people on your team, you know, maybe let them have a go. See if they can create some content for you in TikTok. So that's kind of just worth keeping on your radar. Instagram Reels, I wouldn't worry too much about. It's their version of TikTok, but most people create the stuff in TikTok and share it on Instagram. So I would say, you know, as with anything, don't completely dismiss it, but don't feel like you've got the FOMO, the fear of missing out. People aren't racing over there at the moment. Podcast is definitely worth having a little think about as well, particularly if you're in a very niche sector and there doesn't seem to be one. It's a bit of a long game. You know, don't expect to put one podcast out there and you know, get a whole heap of engagement. You have to have a series involved. But our consumption of these has rocketed this year, obviously because a lot of people have had time at home. You know, their little piece of exercise or their walk per day has allowed the more bite-sized chunks of content to be created. So if you've got you know, something that you think actually there is some mileage in this, I could do a 10 episode podcast on I don't know, what can I think about? So, you know, changes in the kind of finance legislation. You know, so some of it might not, you might not think it's the most engaging content, but it will be important to someone somewhere. So, and again, if you think about, if you're creating a podcast, use that Otter app or any others that transcribe. So then you've got an article as well that goes with it. So, or perhaps the whole series of articles. Why is this all important? Why does it matter at the moment? Well, essentially because you kind of need to show up. As I said, there is an awful lot of noise out there at the moment. So making sure that you are, you know, if you've just gone silent over this year, it's going to be even harder for you next year. I don't want to be the voice of doom, but if you're kind of showing up and, you know, you've got a presence, you're creating some content, you know, people are spending more time on their phone. We were anyway. It's gone even higher this year. So since the beginning of this year, there's been a 61% increase in engagement. Again, some of these have plateaued slightly and they got a bit spiky. So once, depending on your geographical area, once we came out of lockdown 1, that sort of dropped down a little bit, up again. Now we're in lockdown 2. But some of the changes have included the generations that are, you know, sort of maybe 45, 50 plus, who are late adopters of some of the social media platforms, but once they're on it, they stick with it. So they're less, you know, this is a generalization, but they're less fickle than the younger generation. So once they're there, they're super loyal and they will engage as well. So messaging apps, WhatsApp, I think, you know, are you having an event or is it a family chat, you know, family group, unless there's a WhatsApp chat that goes with it. Again, super adopted across the generations. So lots of activity going on there. Make sure you're part of it, basically. And again, you know, just keep in mind, as with anything, at the back of your what underpins your marketing and content strategy is you're kind of taking everybody on a bit of a journey. You're in a sales funnel. So when it comes to creating content with any of these tools, you can't just start off and expect everybody to go into the green section at the bottom where they're going to take action and buy. So a lot of what you do is just about brand awareness, making sure people know who you are. So you're kind of pouring all these things into the top of the funnel and hopefully it'll shake down and you will get more people that fall out the bottom as well. So give your audience what they need. Make sure that they're kind of aware of who you are before you think about moving them down the funnel. That's it from me. I think I'm just 2 minutes over time, so apologies on the presentation, but it was a bit of a whistle-stop tour. I hope it was useful for you. Please do pop any questions in the chat box. Yeah, I'd be delighted to help, and obviously do connect with me as well. So you know, really delighted if anyone wants to reach out and connect to me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on there.